Good morning, Honourable Premier, Honourable Ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to join you today for this swearing-in ceremony and to offer the very best wishes to those taking on new duties as members of the Executive Council. Anyone who has served as a Minister of the Crown will no doubt tell you that you'll be called upon to make some incredibly tough decisions. Ministers must master a wide range of facts and figures, consider highly complex issues from every possible aspect, and make carefully weighted judgments that have lasting effects on Albertans. But I'm sure anyone who has held the job would also agree with me that there is no greater privilege than to lead our remarkable province and to be of service to the people of Alberta. I truly believe that Albertans can accomplish anything we set our minds to, and that you will do your utmost to ensure that your fellow citizens have every opportunity to achieve their goals. As Her Majesty the Queen's representative, I'd like to thank the people taking on these new duties today, as well as our Premier and all members of Cabinet for your service to date. I'd also like to recognize the friends and family here today for the support and encouragement that you have offered and will continue to offer your loved ones as they take on the essential work of leading the province. Thank you and best of luck to you all. I have a letter from the Premier recommending members of the Executive Council with new roles and a new member of the Executive Council, and I have accepted her recommendations. Premier, will you please now introduce to our guests the new member of the Executive Council?
Thank you very much, Your Honour. Before introducing our newest member, the member of the Legislature for Lesser Slave Lake, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge that today's ceremony is taking place on Treaty 6 land. Your Honour, I would ask Ms. Danielle Larrabee, member of the Legislative Assembly, to step forward to swear the oath of Executive Council.
I will now administer the oath of Executive Council. So please repeat, "So help me God," at the close of the oath. You, Danielle Larrabee, do solemnly promise and swear that you will serve Her Majesty truly and faithfully in the place of her council and this Her Majesty's province of Alberta. You will keep close and secret all such matters as shall be treated, debated, and resolved on Executive Council, without publishing or disclosing the same or any part thereof by word, writing, or any otherwise to any person out of the same council, but to such only as be of the council. And yet, if any matter so propounded, treated, and debated in any such Executive Council shall touch any particular person sworn of the same council upon any such matter as shall in any wise concern her loyalty and fidelity to the Queen Majesty, you will in no wise open the same to her, but keep it secret, as you would from any person, until the Queen's Majesty's pleasures be known in that behalf. You, in all things to be moved, treated, and debated in any such Executive Council, faithfully, honestly, and truly declare your mind and opinion to the honour and benefit of the Queen's Majesty and the good of her subjects, and without partiality or exception of persons. In no wise forbearing, so do from any manner of respect, favour, love, meed, displeasure, or dread of any person, whatsoever. In general, you will be vigilant, diligent, and circumspect in all your doings touching the Queen's Majesty's affairs. All which matters and things you will faithfully observe and keep as a good counsellor ought to do, to the utmost of your power, will, and discretion. So help you God.
So help me God. Your Honor, I would now ask the Honorable Darren Billis, Minister for Economic Development and Trade, to please step forward to take the oath of office.
Mr. Billis, would you please take the oath of office and subscribe to the same in the Executive Council roll book?
I, Darren Michael Billis, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will duly and faithfully, to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trusts reposed in me as Minister of Economic Development and Trade for the province of Alberta, so help me God.
I have to read the commission to you. Know ye that having confidence in the loyalty, integrity, and ability of the Honourable Darren Michael Billis of Edmonton in the province of Alberta, I, under and by virtue of the power in me vested in that behalf, do appoint him, the said Honourable Darren Michael Billis, to be Minister of Economic Development and Trade for the province of Alberta, to have and to hold with all and every power, privileges, authority, and advantages to the said office of Minister of Economic Development and Trade by right and by law appertaining. In testimony thereof, I have caused these letters to be made patent and the great seal of the province of Alberta to be hereunto affixed. Congratulations.
Your Honor, I would now ask the Honourable Laurie Sigurdsson, Minister for Advanced Education, please step forward to take the oath of office.
I have to just ask you, would you please take the oath of office and subscribe to the same in the Executive Council roll book?
I, Laurie Dawn Sigurdsson, do solemnly and sincerely promise and affirm that I will duly and faithfully and to the best of my skill and knowledge execute the powers and trusts reposed in me as Minister of Advanced Education for the province of Alberta.
No. Okay, thank you. I'm like your congratulations. You're welcome.
Your Honor, I would now ask the Honourable Danielle Larrivee, Minister for Municipal Affairs and Minister for Service Alberta, to please step forward to take the oath of office.
Ms. Larrabee, would you please take the oath of office and subscribe to same in the Executive Council Roll Book?
I, Danielle Marie Larrabee, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will duly and faithfully, to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and trusts reposed in me as Minister of Municipal Affairs and Minister of Service Alberta for the province of Alberta. So help me God.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the retirement of the Vice-Regal Party.
So the Premier has some brief remarks, and then you will hear from Minister Billis, and then you will hear from Minister Larrivee, and then all three will be pleased to take your questions. When you ask questions, if you could direct your question to the minister you hope to answer it, that would be very helpful.
All right. So I have some brief-ish remarks. Then, yes, thank you very much for coming. Let me begin by saying, all Albertans we know are feeling the impact of the global downturn in oil prices, some more than others. And my heart goes out to the workers and the families who are suddenly making ends meet with one less paycheck in the household. And while the worst pain is in energy, the impact is being felt right across sectors and communities. Today's announcement and changes to Cabinet are aimed directly at job creators, business innovators, and all those people working to turn their bright ideas into new products, new services, and most importantly, new jobs. Here in our province, and in New York, and in Montreal, and in Toronto, people have heard me say that our government supports job creation, including more value-added industry in our areas of greatest strength, the energy sector, agriculture, and tourism, and commitment to a more diversified economy that opens up new opportunities in new sectors and makes our province more resilient. That promise is more than words, it's action. Our first action was creating the Premier's Advisory Committee on the Economy. Today, we take the next step. Alberta's international trade offices and all existing and new economic and trade initiatives, including those supported by the Alberta Innovates corporations, will come under one umbrella. A new Ministry of Economic Development and Trade will provide leadership and coordinate our efforts to support a more diverse and investment-ready economy that will create good jobs and lasting prosperity for all Albertans. Economic Development and Trade will take over the Innovation and Trade divisions of International and Intergovernmental Relations, and Innovation and Advanced Education, including most of those supported by the Alberta Innovates corporations. The remaining staff at International and Intergovernmental Relations will move to Executive Council, and that department will cease to exist as a standalone entity. Staff and existing budgets will be reallocated to the new ministry, effective immediately. Through the new Economic Development and Trade Ministry, Alberta business, entrepreneurs, and innovators will have access to services that focus on investment attraction, innovation, research commercialization, and export market development. The ministry will also combine multiple economic planning efforts currently within government into a single comprehensive economic growth and diversification plan. That plan, which will be part of Budget 2015, will show how the ministry will provide business with the tools they need: expanded access to capital for growing enterprises, coordinated research and innovation to develop new products, businesses, and industries, and more investment and expanded trade in new and existing markets. All of this will add up to greater economic opportunities and jobs in new and growing sectors. And all this will happen under the enthusiastic leadership of the new Minister for Economic Development and Trade, Minister Darren Billis. His work will be informed by the advice of the new Premier's Advisory Committee on the Economy, the Ministry of Innovation and Advanced Education. The Ministry of Innovation and Advanced Education, as you saw, will be renamed Advanced Education. And my very capable colleague, Minister Laurie Sigurdsson, will continue to lead that department and also the Department of Job, Skills, Training and Labour. And Minister Danielle Larrivee will now lead the Ministries of Municipal Affairs and Service Alberta. We are very excited to have her energy and capability and talent at the Cabinet table. Together, Ministers Billis and Larrivee will continue the good work that Minister Billis has been doing on the Municipal Government Act review. And to ensure that that work continues without interruption, Minister Billis will be chairing a new Cabinet committee dedicated to the review of the MGA, and that committee will include Minister Larrivee and also Minister Ceci. Now, last night at the U of A, Mayor Nenshi said good plans for cities mean good plans for the economy. I agree, and I would add that good plans for the economy means good jobs for Albertans. So this is a unique effort for a unique time in Alberta's economic story. And I'm thrilled, of course, to be announcing it at the close of Small Business Week, since our small businesses account for 35% of all jobs in the province and 95% of all businesses. Today is about giving them the support they need to grow our economy and employ more Albertans. It's hard to believe, quite frankly, that we haven't had a minister dedicated to economic development and diversification since 2006. Frankly, growth used to be taken for granted. But the shock of low oil prices has laid bare how vulnerable these old attitudes have made us, and that passivity and those attitudes of entitlement end today. So many Albertans want to help build a more diversified economy, but feel that they just don't have the tools they need to turn their idea into a product, to turn their product into a business, and to turn that business into an enterprise that can reach beyond our borders. So we're going to fix that by showing leadership, taking down the barriers entrepreneurs and innovators face, and giving them the tools that they need to succeed. Our new ministry will support all the strengths that have made Alberta great: pioneering innovation, a vigorous entrepreneurial spirit, and the willingness to work hard. And we will put them into action with a comprehensive province-wide economic diversification plan. We will have expert advice from the Premier's Advisory Committee on the Economy, and we will have a government that listens and acts. Together, we can and we will keep Alberta developing, growing, and working, innovating in our areas of traditional strength, and establishing new products in new markets as partners to the private sector. Together, we will give every Albertan a chance to prosper. So watch for the economic diversification plan in the budget and look for your opportunities in that plan. And go to alberta.ca in the days ahead to learn more about how the new Ministry of Economic Development and Trade will help grow and diversify Alberta's economy for a prosperous future that is shared by all Albertans. So thank you very much, and I'll now ask Minister Billis to make a couple of comments.
Thank you for that introduction, and thank you, Premier, for your confidence in me. Today is a be careful what you wish for kind of day. It's a daunting challenge, but I'm excited by the potential and humbled by the importance of this task. Like you, I've seen and felt the impact of the low price of oil, and I understand the difficulties this has created for families and communities right across this province. Our Premier is committed to change that, and I am honored to do my part, because I believe that the current reality has created a motivation and a momentum for change in Alberta's economic direction. And with the right leadership, the right plan, and the right support systems, Alberta's innovative entrepreneurial culture and highly skilled workforce can build a more diversified and resilient economy. A vibrantly diverse economy can provide rewarding jobs and the benefits of prosperity for all Albertans, women and men, Indigenous and new Canadians, and people with physical or other challenges. The Premier has said many times that job creation happens outside of government, in the private sector, and that government should be a supportive partner to those job creators. The new Ministry of Economic Development and Trade is that partner. My ministry will provide a single storefront for all of government's economic, trade, and innovation support initiatives. We will work with innovators, businesses, and industry to attract investment and develop export markets, to facilitate access to capital, and to support the innovation and commercialization that is the foundation of new products and services. To guide us, we have developed a comprehensive plan on how to realize a more diverse Alberta economy that provides more jobs Albertans can count on. Our government wants to be an effective partner in creating a diverse, resilient, and prosperous economy. And we count on all of our partners in business, industry, labor, and advanced education to work with us as we unveil our plan for a better economic future and put it into action. I thank the Premier for this opportunity to help lead our government's renewed support for Alberta's economy and its renewed commitment to diversification and job creation. I thank the Premier's Advisory Committee on the Economy for its willingness to share its expertise and experience. And I thank Albertans for their enduring, innovative determination on which we built our past prosperity and on which we build our future success. Thank you.
Thank you, Premier, and thank you, Minister Billis. I am truly honored to be joining Cabinet today as the new Minister of Municipal Affairs and Service Alberta. I'm looking forward to working with communities in all corners of Alberta to build a more collaborative, prosperous, and sustainable province. Coming from Lesser Slave Lake, I bring a fresh perspective to this portfolio and understand that the landscape municipalities work in is more complex than ever before. But we know thriving communities are crucial to ensuring a bright future for Alberta. And as our Premier said, strong plans for communities are strong plans for the economy. And a strong economy is something every community shares. So while I know I have a lot of work ahead of me, I'm committed to completing what Minister Billis started and working with our municipal partners to help create vibrant communities and, in turn, greater prosperity for all Albertans. Thank you.
All right.
All three are willing to take your questions now. If you could just direct your question to the minister you're hoping will answer it.
Premier, can you tell us if your new plan includes putting taxpayer money into ventures, business ventures?
I'm not going to get into the specific details of the new plan yet, but we're getting very close to when you're going to see that. The specifics of the plan will be unveiled when we introduce the budget on Tuesday, and I'll be able to comment on it in more detail at that time.
But do you agree with that principle that taxpayer money should go into these ventures? Can you give us a sense on how you feel about
You know, I am not going to tip my hand about what's going to be going on in the budget on Tuesday. But what I will say is that we agree that it is time for the government to very intentionally focus its efforts on diversification. That's why we've created this ministry, because we know that we can't have bits and pieces happening all over the place independent of each other. We need to develop a plan, and we need to be intentional on how we shepherd that plan. And so that's why I've created this ministry and put one of my most senior ministers in charge of it.
During the campaign, you campaigned on a tax credit for people who made new hires. Is that something we can expect to see in the budget? And I'm also hearing from some business groups that they don't feel that it's necessary to create the jobs you're building.
Again, it's very difficult at this point for me to talk about specifics in the budget, but of course we did talk about that kind of plan in our platform, and we've been quite committed to following as much of the platform as we can. So I would suggest that you stay tuned for when we introduce the budget on Tuesday.
Why did you choose to add one minister as opposed to a few more, given that your cabinet is so small?
Because at this point, everyone's doing their job, it's going well, so this was not an issue of trying to change what's going on or suggesting that what the work that other ministers have been doing hasn't been valuable and doesn't have more benefit still to be delivered to Albertans. So this was something that we felt we needed to focus on. I've spent a number of months meeting with key leaders in the business community and repeatedly from all sectors, from large business, small business, the innovation sector, the venture capital sector, and everything in between, what we've heard is we needed a coordinated approach to diversification. And so the point was to do that while minimizing the disruption to the very good work that all of my other ministers are working very, very hard on every day.
Minister Billis, does the TPP deal now fall to you? I guess what are you hoping to see or look out of that?
Anyway, we're still waiting on the details, but this is definitely something that the minister will be in charge of. But if you want to offer anything else,
Minister Billis?
okay, sorry.
I have a question for you in French, if you may.
Can we do French after? Is that okay? Yeah.
Minister Billis, you're taking on a pretty big portfolio and you're steering the MGA, the Municipal Governance Act. That is a huge project in itself. Are you worried about the workload at all of these two things?
No, I'm not worried about the workload. In fact, I've got a very capable minister now in charge of municipal affairs, and obviously we have incredible staff that work with us. The partnerships that we built with municipalities, I mean, really this is a continuation. And so I'm quite honored to be a part and be a part of the MGA review and work with Mr. Larrivee and CC to ensure that we continue with the timelines that we laid out a month ago. And so I do agree that this is an incredible amount of work that lies ahead of me, but I'm definitely up for the task.
One more question. You between the two of you, you said the word diverse about 40 times in your comments. I just want to be clear. The focus on diversity and diversification, are you saying that essentially your job is to foster business growth that's non-energy? Or is that basically your job is non-energy business growth? Or does it include energy? Because you already have an energy minister.
Correct. Diversification is not just for the non-energy sector. We're also looking at how we can enhance the oil and gas sector. And again, when we look at job creation and job growth, that fits with all sectors across the province.
Minister Billis, have you been given any indication as to when you might see the details of the TPP?
Honestly, I have not, as I've been in Government House all morning. But no, I'm not sure when, but I will immediately start trying to get my hands on some details of the TPP. But as the Premier said, until we have a chance to go through it thoroughly, I won't be making any comments on that deal.
Premier, have you been given any indication as to when you might see the details of the trade deal?
Honestly, nothing then outside of what's been in the media. We've gotten the general overview that I think has already been discussed, but in terms of the specific details, we're looking to get them as soon as possible, but we have not been given a timeline yet. And not surprising, a change in the federal government. We anticipate getting a lot of important information that we've been waiting on from the federal government over the course of the next few weeks.
Mr. Larrivee, what's the status of your position on the mental health review?
I will be continuing as the chair, or one of the co-chairs of the mental health review. Certainly Albertans have invested a lot of time and energy into sharing with me their concerns, and I look forward to continuing with that work as well.
When are you expecting that work to be completed?
We will be submitting the report in December, likely December 23rd.
So you're going into the House next week to talk about two departments that you haven't been running and present two budgets that you didn't help write. Are you concerned at all about having to go into two major departments right away?
No, there's a very capable staff and support team within the ministry who's already been working with me to brief me on the issues going forward, and I look forward to working with them to be fully prepared for session.
A couple more questions, guys. Go ahead.
Premier, I got a question. So, when you came into office, oil was still low then, and it is low now. Now, when you swore in your first cabinet, you really highlighted the fact that it was the smallest number since back to the Socrates era, actually. And so, with that, with oil still being low then and now, I mean, really, is it just that you underestimated how much work governing the province is?
No, I wouldn't say that, but I think that it's important to start with a core where you can get a good handle on things, and as you get into the job and roll up your sleeves, priorities present themselves, and important issues develop, and so as much as I think it's important to be careful in terms of the size of the cabinet. It was never an intention that this was going to be the size of the cabinet forever. It still is, of course, a very small cabinet, and we know that overall in government we need to do our part to keep our house in order and from a financial and fiscal perspective. But I think that this is a key priority for Albertans. It's a key priority for business leaders, and job creation continues to be something that our government has to take very seriously. And we can't do it when the efforts around that are scattered between too many different ministries, as has been the case since 2006. So if we're going to really make progress on this diversification file, then we're going to have to be intentional about it. And that's why we've done that today.
Kim, go ahead.
Why didn't you select a minister from Calgary? You've got more ministers from Edmonton than from Calgary right now. Are you worried about an imbalance there?
Well, you know, I mean, there's a number of different issues that you consider when you look at where you bring your ministers from. So regional considerations are one issue. Other representational considerations are an issue. Frankly, it comes down to the fact that Minister Larrivee has demonstrated herself to be exceptionally skilled, exceptionally hardworking, very mature, and very capable of handling a number of different complex issues. And she'd already been developing relationships with a number of people in municipal affairs in anticipation of a growing role in that regard, and so it seemed like the best choice for that portfolio.
2 more questions, guys.
Representative from Alberta at the table of the new federal government, what area do you think, or would you like to have that cabinet minister, if there is one, represent? What industry or what portfolio?
Well, it's a tough one because there's so many there's really a lot of very important issues that we need to work with the federal government on. Obviously, energy and market access is one issue. Environmental progress is another issue. Ensuring that we get continued effective healthcare funding for Albertans is another issue. And infrastructure is another critical issue. So, you know, frankly, I think all 4 of them should be in cabinet.
This will be the last question.
Minister, Premier, sorry for interrupting. I was wondering if you could answer one more question about the budget. Can you give Albertans a sense of what they can expect in broad terms?
Well, I think the Minister of Finance yesterday did give a general sense that there's not going to be any big surprises in it. You know, our view is that we need to try and stick as close as we can to the principles that we ran on. And it will be a budget that focuses on 3 primary things: preserving the stability and the effectiveness of our frontline public services to ensure that we continue to encourage and support the resiliency of Albertans individually and in their communities. It will also be focused on mapping out a plan to balance. And the third thing, of course, is that we will be looking at new initiatives around economic stimulation and job growth. So those are the themes that you will see reflected in the budget: stability, plan to balance, job growth. And so I hope that you'll see that those themes are effectively represented within the budget on Tuesday.
Thanks, everyone.